You mentioned earlier that sandwiches have passports.
Oh, the sandwich wars are even more territorial than the soda wars.
We're talking about the long sandwich on a roll, deli meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato. To me, and I think to the national chains, that is a sub. Okay, I want to start today by putting you in a very specific, slightly high-pressure situation.
Okay.
Just, close your eyes for a second. You are hungry, you are thirsty, and you have just sat down in a roadside diner in the middle of rural Texas.
I can picture it. It's hot outside. The AC is blasting inside. I'm ready to order.
Exactly. So I'm your waiter. I walk up, notepad in hand, and I ask, what can I get you to drink? And you say,
I'll just have a Coke.
okay, sure. What kind?
Excuse me?
What kind of Coke do you want?
The Coke kind, like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I get that, hun, but what kind? We got Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, root beer.
Wait, hold on. Pause for a second. If I order a Coke and you bring me a Sprite or a root beer, I am sending it back.
Right.
That is a mistake, not a dialect.
You would think so. But in this specific diner, and really across a huge swath of the Deep South, that isn't an error, it's a taxonomy.
It's a taxonomy.
Yes. In this context, Coke has become the genus, and Sprite is just a species within it. It sounds wild to an outsider, but, inside that diner, if you just say Coke, you're the one being imprecise.
That is genuinely confusing. We usually think of language barriers as something that happens when you cross international borders.
Mm-hmm.
You expect to be confused in Tokyo or Paris, but what we're finding in this research is that you can cross a state line, sometimes just a city line, in the U.S., and suddenly the word for lunch means dinner. A sandwich needs a passport, and ordering a soda becomes a philosophical debate.
It is total regional chaos, and honestly, it's not just about vocabulary, right?
No.
It's about avoiding that awkward silence where the waiter looks at you like you're an alien.
Precisely. It's about social friction. These words, whether you say sub or hoagie, pop or soda, they aren't just labels. They are flags. They signal identity. They tell people, I am from here, or I am definitely not from here.
So our mission today is to decode this map. We're going to cover why a sandwich is a war zone, why you might show up to a dinner party 6 hours late, and the absolute most dangerous phrase you can use when someone offers you food.
Oh, that last one is a lifesaver.
It really is. But let's go back to that Texas diner first. We need to settle the great soda debate because this seems to be the one that gets people the most heated.
It really is the most famous linguistic divide in the country. The data breaks it down into 3 distinct camps. It's almost like a territorial map of carbonated beverages.
Okay, let's map it out. Camp number 1, soda.
This is the term you'll hear in the Northeast, the West Coast, and pockets of the South, like Florida. Linguistically, it's considered the safe word.
The safe word.
Yeah. If you say soda in a place that doesn't use it, you might sound a bit formal, maybe a bit generic, but you will be understood. It's the neutral ground.
Okay, but then you cross into the Midwest or the Pacific Northwest and suddenly soda disappears.
Completely. Now you are in pop country.
Pop, it just sounds comedic to me.
It's onomatopoeic. It sounds like the noise the bottle makes when you open it. I'll have a pop. But people in the Midwest will fiercely defend this.
Oh, I'm sure.
To them, soda sounds like something you use for baking, like baking soda, or it sounds incredibly pretentious.
I have a friend from Ohio who says, soda sounds like something a character in a black and white movie would order at a pharmacy counter. 1 soda, please.
Exactly. It feels stiff to them. But then we have the chaos agent, the Deep South.
The Coke phenomena.
This is what we started with. In parts of the Deep South, Coke has undergone something called genericization.
Genericization.
It's what happened to aspirin or escalator brands that became so dominant they ate the entire category.
Right, but Coke feels different because there are fierce competitors. I mean, Pepsi exists. Dr. Pepper exists.
True, but look at the history of the South. Atlanta is the home of Coca-Cola. For a huge chunk of the 20th century, the distribution networks there were effectively a monopoly. If you grew up in 1940s Georgia, you didn't really see Pepsi. You saw Coke. So the brand became the noun. It's not just laziness. It's a fossil record of corporate dominance.
That makes so much sense. So let's unpack the logic here. If I say, I want a Coke, I'm effectively just saying I want a fizzy drink.
Correct. So the follow-up question, what kind, is logical to them.
Right.
They need you to specify the brand.
So I could answer.
You could answer, I'll have a Dr. Pepper Coke, or I'll have a Sprite Coke.
That still breaks my brain a little bit. Sprite Coke.
It's fascinating, though, isn't it? It just shows how powerful a brand can be.
So for our listener, here is the decoder.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in the Midwest, you swallow your pride and say pop.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in the South and you say Coke, be ready to specify the brand immediately. Don't wait for them to ask. Just say, I'll have a Coke Dr. Pepper, please.
Or if you want to be totally safe and avoid the whole mess, just order water.
The coward's way out. I love it. Okay, so we've got our drinks. Now we need to eat. And this is where I feel like I've stepped on landmines before. You mentioned earlier that sandwiches have passports.
Oh, the sandwich wars are even more territorial than the soda wars.
We're talking about the long sandwich on a roll, deli meat, cheese, lettuce, tomato. To me, and I think to the national chains, that is a sub.
Right, sub or submarine sandwich. That is the national default, largely because chains like Subway standardize the language.
Right.
If you say sub anywhere in the U.S., people know what you mean. You might mark yourself as generic, but you'll get your lunch.
But then you go to Philadelphia.
And you enter the danger zone. In Philly, that sandwich is a hoagie. And I want to stress this, based on the sources we have, this isn't just a quirky local slang. It is serious business.
So calling a hoagie a sub
It's
is...
a cultural offense.
It's like walking into a sports bar in Boston and wearing a Yankees hat. You're just asking for trouble.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And just 2 hours north, in New York City, it changes again. Now it's a hero.
A hero. I always like that one. It sounds like the sandwich is coming to save your hunger.
It does imply a certain grandeur. I'm going to grab a hero. It feels very New York.
Mm.
But then you go to New England, specifically around Connecticut, and it becomes a grinder.
A grinder. That sounds difficult to chew.
The theory is that it came from Italian-American shipyard workers or grinders who ate them. Sometimes, in New England, a grinder specifically implies it's a hot sandwich, while a sub might be cold. But the lines get blurry.
And we can't forget New Orleans.
The po' boy, which is very specific, usually French bread, often fried seafood or roast beef. You can't really call a turkey sandwich a po' boy. That's a specific culinary heritage.
There was one more on the list that I found really funny. Maine.
Yes, the Italian.
Italian.
Just an Italian. You don't say Italian sandwich. You walk in and say, I'll have an Italian.
Yeah.
Even if it's ham and cheese. The sandwich itself is called the Italian.
Okay, so let's play this out. I'm going to be a deli guy in South Philly. You
Yeah.
are the tourist. You're hungry. Go.
Okay. Hi there. Can I get a turkey hero with mayo?
Oh, what? You want a hero. You got to go to New York for that, pal. We serve hoagies here. Next.
See? I immediately feel small. I feel like I don't belong.
And that's the power of these dialects. It's instant gatekeeping.
But it's also community. When you use the right word, it's a secret handshake. It says, I understand how things work here.
So the takeaway. Sub is the universal pass. But if you want respect, you have to learn the local code. Hoagie in Philly. Hero in New York.
Exactly. Read the room, or at least read the awning outside the shop.
So we've successfully ordered our hoagie or hero or grinder, and we've navigated the pop versus soda minefield. We have the food, but now we run into a logistical problem.
The timeline.
Exactly, because even if you know what to order, showing up at the wrong time is just as embarrassing. And this brings us to the Sunday dinner confusion.
Oh, this is a classic.
This actually happened to me. I got an invite to dinner on a Sunday while visiting family in the South.
Let me guess. You showed up at 7 p.m.
I did. The house was dark. They were in their pajamas watching TV. They had eaten dinner at 1:00 p.m. I felt like an absolute idiot.
The classic dinner versus supper conflict. This is one of those things that causes genuine logistical nightmares.
Break it down for us. Why is dinner moving around the clock?
So in standard modern American English, and in most international business contexts, the schedule is breakfast, lunch, dinner. Dinner is the evening meal.
Right. That's how I operate.
But if you look at rural areas, the Midwest and parts of the South, the agrarian roots are still very strong in the language. Historically, the biggest meal of the day was the midday meal. That was dinner.
Because you needed the calories to go back out and work in the fields.
Exactly. You had breakfast, then the heavy dinner at noon, and then a lighter meal in the evening called supper.
Supper. It's such a cozy word.
It is. It feels very domestic. And that usage persists, especially on Sundays. Sunday dinner in the South or Midwest almost universally means a heavy meal served around 1 or 2 p.m., probably after church.
So if I invite you to supper, that definitely means evening.
Yes, supper is always evening, but dinner is the wild card.
And there's a class aspect to this too, isn't there?
There is. Supper is increasingly seen as old-fashioned or rural. You won't find a trendy bistro in Los Angeles inviting you to supper.
Right.
They serve dinner. Dinner sounds more formal, more modern. Supper sounds like you're having meatloaf at your grandmother's house.
Which, to be fair, sounds amazing right now.
It does.
Yeah.
But the decoder here is crucial. If someone older or from a rural background or living in the South invites you to dinner, especially on a weekend, you absolutely must clarify the time. Do not assume 7:00 p.m.
Just ask, what time should I be there?
Simple as that. Save yourself the embarrassment of showing up while they're doing the dishes.
Okay, let's pivot to something that I think trips up international visitors the most.
Okay.
We're talking about hospitality now. You're at the table, you've eaten the supper, and now the host wants to give you more.
And use the phrase, I'm good.
I'm good. I say this all the time.
Context is everything. We're talking about a specific dynamic here. You are at someone's home. Maybe it's that grandmother serving supper. She walks over with a pot of mashed potatoes and tries to put more on your plate. You hold up your hand and say, I'm good.
Meaning, no thank you. I do not want more potatoes.
To you, that's what it means.
Yeah.
But in the grammar of American hospitality, especially Southern hospitality, or in many immigrant families, I'm good is interpreted as, I am currently satisfied, but I'm trying to be polite, and if you insist, I will take more.
Wait, really? It sounds like a negotiation opening.
It sounds vague. It lacks finality. I'm good describes your current state. I am content. But it doesn't explicitly refuse the action of adding more food.
So if I say I'm good, the host hears, twist my arm.
Exactly. They hear, oh, he's just being humble. He wants more. And then, splat, you have a second serving of potatoes.
Okay, let's role play this because I need to feel the pain. I'll be the pushy host. You are the guest. You are full. You physically cannot eat anymore.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, look at you. You barely ate a thing. Here, let me just give you a little more lasagna, just a scoop.
Oh, no, really, I'm good.
Nonsense. You're a growing boy. You need your strength. Just a little corner piece.
See, it didn't work. You went right past it.
I totally did. I steamrolled you. So how do I stop the lasagna train?
You need definitive language. You cannot describe your state of being. You have to describe your capacity. You say, I am full, or I am stuffed, or I cannot eat another bite.
I'm stuffed.
I'm stuffed works wonders. It implies physical pain if you continue. A good host will respect I'm stuffed. They might not respect I'm good.
That is such a subtle distinction, but I can see how it saves you from a stomachache.
Politeness often causes overeating in this country. Being direct is the only defense.
Okay, we have a few minutes left and I want to do a rapid fire round. The research highlighted a few landmines, little things that catch people off guard, especially if they're visiting from abroad.
Okay.
I'm going to throw them at you, and you give me the quick etiquette fix. Ready?
Let's do it.
Landmine number 1, sweet tea.
Oh, huge one. In the South, tea is not just tea. If you order tea, it will come ice cold and loaded with sugar. It is pre-sweetened.
So if I want normal iced tea...
You have to explicitly ask for unsweet tea. Not unsweetened, just unsweet. It's its own vocabulary word. And be warned, in some places they might look at you like you're crazy for asking.
Landmine number 2, biscuits.
Crucial for our UK and Australian listeners. In the US, a biscuit is not a cookie. It is a savory, fluffy bread roll. It is often covered in sausage gravy.
If you ask for a biscuit with your coffee, expecting a chocolate digestive.
You are going to be very confused when they bring you a plate of bread covered in white sauce.
Landmine number 3, entree. This one drives my European friends crazy.
The entree. In the US, the entree is the main course. It is the big meal. It is not the starter.
But entree literally means entrance. It should be the beginning.
It used to be.
Yeah.
In classical French dining, the entree was the course before the roast meat. But as American dining evolved, we simplified the structure. We dropped the massive roast course, but kept the heavy entree dish and made it the main event.
So we kept the word, killed the context, and confused every tourist for the next 100 years.
Essentially. So when you see entree on a menu in Chicago, do not order a steak thinking it's a starter. You will be eating steak for a week.
And finally, portion sizes.
The unspoken rule of American dining. The portions are massive. They are generally 50% to 100% larger than international standards.
Go the tip is.
Share, or get comfortable asking for a to-go box. It is totally culturally expected, even to take half your meal home.
Okay, let's unpack this all. We've covered soda maps, sandwich borders, the time of day, and how to refuse lasagna. What is the big picture here?
I think the big picture is that American English isn't a monolith. We tend to think of the U.S. as this homogenized culture because of TV and movies, but food is where the local roots hold on the tightest.
It's the last stronghold of regionalism.
It is. You can buy the same iPhone in Seattle and Miami, you can watch the same Netflix show, but you cannot order the same lunch.
And it forces you to engage, doesn't it? You have to pay attention to where you are.
That's the key. It's about identity and respect. When you are in Philly and you order a hoagie, you aren't just getting a sandwich. You are participating in Philadelphia. You are acknowledging their way of doing things.
So for the listener who is planning a trip across the U.S. or maybe just moving to a new state, what is the ultimate piece of advice?
My advice is, don't look at the menu. Listen to the line.
Ooh, I like that.
Stand back and listen to the person ordering before you. If they say pop, you order pop. If they say hero, you say hero. Mimicry is the sincerest form of flattery, and it's also the best way to get good service.
And if you mess it up.
Just laugh about it.
Yeah.
Americans love explaining their local quirks. If you ask, wait, why do you call it a cabinet? Which is what they call milkshakes in Rhode Island, by the way.
Wait, really? A cabinet?
Yes, really. If you ask, they will love telling you the story. It's an icebreaker.
That is fantastic advice. Be curious, not confused.
Ex
Well, I don't know about you, but all this talk of hoagies and biscuits has made me incredibly hungry.
I could go for some supper. Or dinner.
Let's just get some food. But hey, are you sure you want to go? You're not too busy.
I see what you're doing.
I'm good.
See? I don't know if that means you're coming or staying.
I'm coming. Let's go.